What's up, Mafia? Welcome into the Bills Breakdown here by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for this episode. I've been waiting with bated breath to bring you a reaction to Field Yates Mock Draft 2.0. If you don't know who Field Yates is, he is an ESPN draft analyst that, I'm not going to lie, in his most recent mock draft, put out some insane suggestions for what the Buffalo Bills are going to do with their first 2-round pick. So it's the first full 2 rounds, right? That's what we're getting into. It's not the full mock draft. But here's what I want you to do. Send this to a Bills fan that is looking for more Bills content. If you know somebody that's like, hey, they could use a little bit more Bills in their life, send this video to them, click that share button, and send it so that we can become the premier destination, for the Bills here on YouTube. Now, like I said, ESPN's Field Yates Mock Draft 2.0 showcases a crazy Buffalo Bills plan. So much so that I had to triple take it when it first came out because I was like, there is no way any of this can be real. So let's start off with his mock draft. We're going to breeze through this so that we can get to the Bills pick. 1 through 4 looks like this, pretty much stereotypical to everything you're going to see on ESPN and other sites. Followed by 5 through 8, Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, Armin Membu, and Jalen Walker. Shamar Stewart coming in at number 9. It's a little bit of a shock there for the Saints. Followed by Will Campbell, Walter Nolan, who's been climbing up draft boards, and Tet McMillan. These guys through 13 through 16 with Mike Green, my favorite player in the this year's NFL draft. Can't wait to see how his career unfolds. Followed by Gray Zabel, one of my favorite offensive line prospects. Omarion Hampton going to Denver at number 20. They need a running back. Some surprising things here. Jackson Dart going to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21. That came as a bit of a shock to me. Jahdae Barron, one of the Bills' cornerback draft targets that I had previously mentioned. Kind of sad to see him at 24. Same with Maxwell Hairston at number 26. He's a fast, lightning quick, great in zone coverage player. I don't want to see him fall to the Rams, but in this case, he does. Now for the juicy stuff. Nick Eamon-Warry, big-bodied safety, goes to Washington, plays a hybrid of safety and can play a little bit of linebacker with how big he is. But you'll notice something. At number 30, it's not the Bills picking, it's the Patriots. Well, why is that? Because Field Yates has a trade alert. So here's what he has envisioned for the Bills in this interdivisional trade. The Bills would be sending their number 30 pick and their number pick 109 in the 4th round to the Patriots in exchange for the 2nd round pick number 38 and the 3rd round pick number 77. So who do the Patriots select at 30? Josh Connerly Jr., left tackle out of Oregon, who did not let up a single sack. You'll notice something else that's kind of crazy. The Vegas Raiders are not supposed to be there at 31. That's the Chiefs spot. What happened here? Well, same thing, different, or same shit, different toilet. Another interdivisional trade. Now, here's what I'm going to draw the line. One interdivisional trade happens every blue moon. It's very rare. 2 interdivisional trades, let alone back-to-back at from each other, is insane work. There is no shot I see any of this happening. And when I originally saw this, I was like, dude, you lost me. You're making this way too complicated. But this is what Field Yates has from ESPN, so I'm going to ask you this. Would you accept this trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm saying hell no. I'm not trading with the Patriots. If you want me to trade with another team like the Browns at 33, I'm all ears. Not the Patriots, not the Jets, and not the Dolphins. Not going to happen. Now, let's go to 33 through 36. And you'll notice something again. I'm telling you, you cannot make this shit up. Tyler Shugg comes in at 33, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I thought the Bills were picking at 38. Why are they at 34? Well, because Field Yates, in all of his glory, sends 38 to the Giants to jump up to 34. So let me recap for you what has happened. The Bills trade from 30 to 38 with the Patriots and then decide, wait a minute, that's a little too far than we were willing to go. I'm going to jump back up to 34 so that I can secure Kenneth Grant. I need a second to breathe here. Field Yates is actually crazy, I think. There's no shot any of this happens. But again, I'm going to allow bygones to be bygones. I'm going to roll with the punches here. So let's talk about the Bills draft pick, Mr. Kenneth Grant. I love Kenneth Grant as a prospect. I really do. I think he has excelled every single year that he's played in college football. He's got the size that you're looking for. He can stop the run. He can get to the quarterback with a little bit more development. And he was a part of a winning culture at Michigan that saw him winning the 2023 national championship. So if I'm ticking boxes right now, he's got the measurables. He's got the run-stopping capabilities. He knows what a winning culture looks like. All of those things lead me to wanting to draft Kenneth Grant. So I'm going to ask you, do you want to draft Kenneth Grant? For it feels like the fifth or sixth time that I'm going to ask you it. Type D for draft or P for pass. You know I'm penciling in my D for draft. Now, all of the chaos has kind of subsided. We're back on track. But now, in this mock draft, where are the Bills picking? Because I'm sure it got lost in translation. Well, the Bills currently sit at 56 and 62 in this draft. So let's speed through until we get to pick 56, Mr. Producer Dylan. This is kind of what it's going to look like. Ben Morrison goes to Tampa Bay, followed by Jack Beck, Elick Alamainer, and who's this guy? Right here, number 56, the Bills select defensive end out of Ohio State, JT Tuimoloau. I think I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Tuimoloau. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I wasn't very sure who this guy was come yesterday morning. I started doing my research about the guy, and here's what I have found out. He's a project, not a prospect. However, with what you get from him, there are a lot of things that you just can't teach. Like, for example, you can't teach being 6'4", 265 pounds. He was third in the FBS last year. He's very productive with 21 and a half tackles for loss, and he was tied for fifth with 12 and a half sacks. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's amazing, Moose. Why on earth would we not want to draft this guy? Well, the problem is that his athleticism, in terms of his speed, his hand quickness, and his feet quickness, is a lot to be desired. And I'm not going to deny it. At Ohio State, the guy had an insane 2024. He wasn't that great through the first 3 years, but it seems like a light bulb clicked for him in that 2024 championship season. And when I look at what he's got to offer, the more and more I'm on board with it, but not as a right out of the gates going to be the number one option alongside Joey Bosa. This feels more like a rotational draft pick that we can work and develop while we are in our 1 year with Mr. Joey Bosa. So he's more of a project than a prospect. I'd like to see him learn under Bosa, learn how to use your hands better, learn how to get quicker and lighter on your feet, develop a swim move, because everything that I'm reading right now indicates that Tuimoloau is just a bulldozer of a player. Kind of reminds me of Lucas Van Ness from Green Bay. He's got one move, and that's just, I'm going to truck you. I'm bigger and stronger than you are. And in the college game, you can do that to, left tackles and guards that aren't necessarily as developed skill-wise, and you could just bully them off the line. So I look at Tuimoloau as a project, not a prospect. Now, we've gone through our first two. So who do we have at pick number 62? Our last in round two. This guy right here. Mr. Jacob Parrish, cornerback out of Kansas State. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not high on this guy at all. There's a lot that I think he leaves in terms of meat on the bone, literally and figuratively. So let's talk about Jacob Parrish from Kansas State. He's 5'10", 191 pounds. Here's some information for you. I am 5'9", 186. So this guy's got 5 pounds on me and 1 inch. Look at me. This is what you would be getting in terms, maybe slightly bigger, in terms of Jacob Parrish. He's not big enough. Now, he did have a productive season with Kansas State last year, and I'm not going to deny that he's skilled. He's got some skill to play the position, but he lacks size and strength off the offensive line, and he's not good in protecting the run. And his career at Kansas State was 108 tackles, 6 tackles for loss. That's not nearly good enough. He did have 24 pass breakups. So again, like I said, there's that skill. And he had 5 interceptions, which is okay. But you're telling me that a guy with this production and this size is going to make a great addition alongside Christian Benford at cornerback 2? Give me a break. I'm not high on this guy. And it's nothing against him. I'm sure he's a great person, and he works very, very hard. That's one of the pros that all the analysts have been saying, is that he works his ass off. The problem is I want size. I want strength. I want someone that's not going to get bodied by a guy like George Pickens or DK Metcalf Nico Collins would crush this guy at the top of a route. So I'm not high on Parrish, but this is what our last 3 draft picks, according to Yates, look like. I'm not going to deny, if I had to grade this myself, I would say C, maybe a C-. I like the Kenneth Grant pick. JT, like I said, more of a project, so it's kind of a question mark, and then no on Parrish. So I'm going to give my grade and take out my red pen and pencil it in, or pen it in, so to speak. I want you to grade Field Yates' mock draft. I'm going to say a C-. I'm going to lock that in as my answer. I don't like what I saw from Field Yates, but you can let me know if you think something different in the comment section below. That's going to do it for us today on Bills Breakdown. Remember to subscribe, send this to a Bills friend or Bills fan in your life, and remember to like the video. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool.